A human mechanic restored a rusty, obsolete alien ship and transformed it into a fearsome force HFY. Jace Rylan wiped the oil from his hands and squinted at the distant outline of the derelict ship. The scrapyard stretched for miles, a desert of rusting metal, broken engines, and forgotten alien technology. Most humans considered this area useless, a place where scavengers barely survived. But Jace saw opportunity. He had a gift, an instinct for machines that even the most advanced alien engineers could not anticipate. The ship before him was massive, at least 3 times the size of any human frigate. Its hull was rusted, warped, and pitted with holes. The alien symbols were faded, and strange appendages hung like broken limbs from the sides. Its weapons were shattered, the cockpit was dark, and even the engines were silent, cold, and dead. To most, it was nothing more than junk. To Jace, it was a puzzle, a challenge. "This one, it's special," he whispered to himself, brushing away dust. He had seen ships like this before in ancient alien archives, but this one was far older. The design was clunky, almost primitive, yet there was a strange elegance in the way its lines flowed. Its structure suggested immense power, but it had been abandoned long ago. Jace adjusted his worn toolkit belt and stepped closer. "I can fix this," he muttered. Others would laugh. "You can't even read the symbols," they would say. "You don't know how the systems work." But Jace was different. Humans had a unique talent for improvisation, a talent that no alien system could predict. If anyone could bring this ship back to life, it was him. The first step was inspection. Jace circled the ship, tapping panels, listening for hollow sounds, and using his scanner to detect energy flow. Most of the readings were dead. The life support, weapons, shields, propulsion, all silent. The ship had been abandoned for centuries, perhaps even longer. Still, Jace's instincts told him that some systems were dormant, waiting to be awakened. He climbed into the cockpit, feeling the weight of the alien controls under his hands. The layout was unfamiliar. No human console resembled this. Levers, holographic panels, and touch-sensitive surfaces glowed faintly under layers of dust. He pressed a button cautiously. Nothing. Another. Still nothing. Hours turned into days as Jace studied the ship. He sketched diagrams, tried various sequences, and experimented with energy conduits. Sometimes he felt like the ship was laughing at him, mocking his human ingenuity, but he refused to give up. He had repaired smaller alien ships before, but nothing like this. Nothing that had been left to rot in the void for so long. At night, he camped under the shadow of the ship, staring at its dark hull. The stars reflected off its surface, and he imagined it cutting through space, faster and more deadly than any human vessel. He imagined using it to protect human colonies from pirates or alien raiders. That vision fueled his determination. One evening, he discovered something unusual. The main power conduit, corroded though it was, seemed to contain a tiny reserve of energy. It pulsed faintly like a heartbeat. Jace's eyes widened. If he could reconnect the circuits and stabilize the flow, maybe, just maybe, the ship could start. The work was grueling. He fabricated parts from salvaged metal, rewired damaged systems, and even repurposed components from other derelict ships. Every day he faced setbacks. Panels exploded, circuits fried, and warning lights flashed ominously. Yet every failure taught him something new. Each mistake brought him closer to understanding the alien design. Days turned into weeks. Jace slept in the cockpit, eating cold rations, refusing to leave the ship. He became attuned to its quirks, the hum of dormant circuits, the vibrations of its hull, the strange alien language that pulsed through its core. Slowly, it felt less like a machine and more like a living creature. Then came the first breakthrough. Using a combination of human engineering and trial and error, Jace managed to power up the life support system. Air circulated, lights blinked, and the cockpit hummed softly. He exhaled, feeling a surge of pride. "You're not dead yet," he said to the ship. We're going to get you moving." Next, he turned to the propulsion system. This was harder. The engines were ancient and the fuel conduits had corroded. He scavenged parts from smaller ships, adapted human power cells, and carefully linked them to the alien systems. When he finally powered the engines, the ship shuddered violently, almost throwing him off his feet. Sparks flew. Smoke filled the cockpit, but the hum of energy was unmistakable. It was alive. Despite progress, Jace faced doubt. Other humans would have given up long ago. Even he sometimes wondered if the ship systems were too far gone, if the entire project was doomed. But humans had a way of turning impossible situations into triumphs. He remembered stories of human pioneers exploring uncharted space, of engineers solving problems no one else could. This ship would be no different. Weeks later, he reached a critical moment. The ship's core was intact, but the control interface was alien. No human could read it fully. Jace stared at the glowing symbols, tracing patterns with his fingers. Then, almost instinctively, he pressed a combination of buttons, turning knobs and sliding panels in a sequence that felt right. The ship trembled. Panels flickered. A low rumble echoed through the hull. Jace's heart pounded. Was it working? Had he done something irreversible? He held his breath. Suddenly, the ship roared to life. Lights blazed across the cockpit, energy conduits hummed, and the engines emitted a deep, resonant sound. Jace grinned, the adrenaline surging. "We did it," he whispered. "We're alive." He stepped outside to see the ship from afar. The hull glimmered in the starlight, repaired and humming with latent power. It was no longer just a rusted relic, it was a promise. A promise that humans, with their ingenuity and determination, could take the impossible and make it real. News began to spread, quietly at first. Traders and scavengers spoke in hushed tones about a human who had awakened an ancient alien warship. Some were skeptical, others curious, but none could deny the growing legend. Jace, however, focused on the next step. Bringing the ship to life was one thing, mastering it was another. The controls were unpredictable, the systems unfamiliar. But humans had a unique skill, adaptability. No alien engineer could predict the creative solutions a human mind could invent. He spent days training in simulated maneuvers, learning how the ship responded to commands, how the engines shifted under stress, and how the weapons reacted. The ship seemed to respond to him, almost as if it recognized his persistence and ingenuity. Then came a message from a nearby human settlement. "Jace, we hear about your project. Be careful. That ship, it's dangerous. Aliens will come if they know you've activated it." Jace nodded. He expected challenges. He had already prepared contingency plans, escape routes, and emergency repairs. The ship, once considered obsolete, was becoming a force that could change the balance in human space. But first, he had to prove himself. That night, Jace climbed into the cockpit one last time before departure. He looked at the stars, thinking of the unknown dangers ahead. The ship's engines thrummed in response, almost as if echoing his resolve. For the first time in weeks, he smiled without fatigue. "This is only the beginning," he said. "They have no idea what humans can do." And with that, he fired the engines. The ship lifted from the ground, its massive hull cutting through the night sky. Dust swirled beneath it as it rose higher, leaving behind the scrapyard and the doubts of others. Jace was no longer just a mechanic. He was the pilot of a legend in the making, a human capable of awakening forgotten power and turning it into a force that could challenge any enemy. Above him, the stars stretched endlessly, full of possibilities. And the universe was about to see, for the first time, just what humans were truly capable of. Jace Ryland's hands moved quickly over the alien controls, adjusting levers, sliding panels, and calibrating sensors. The massive ship hummed under his touch, its engines purring like a living creature. He had awakened it from centuries of silence, but now the real challenge began. mastering its systems and transforming it into something far greater than anyone could imagine. The first few days in space were a test. The ship responded unpredictably to commands. Sometimes the engines surged with too much force, and sometimes the shields flickered in ways that made Jace anxious. But he adapted quickly. Humans were not born to follow instructions blindly. They learned by thinking, by trying, by failing and trying again. Jace decided to explore the ship's weapons systems first. The alien design was unlike anything humans had built. Cannons were modular, shifting in size and shape, while strange energy emitters lined the hull. Reading the alien symbols was impossible, but he could understand patterns. He tapped into the core, sending test pulses, and watched as tiny turrets rotated and fired harmless bursts into space. "Interesting," he murmured. "You're more advanced than I thought." He began modifying the weapons using human engineering. He combined alien energy cells with human targeting systems, creating a hybrid that the original alien designers could never have imagined. Small tests in asteroid fields proved the weapons were precise and far stronger than expected. The ship's power core, once dormant, now channeled energy efficiently, almost like it had learned to cooperate with him. Next, he turned to propulsion. The alien engines were designed for speed, but they were inefficient with energy. Jace scavenged components from smaller derelict ships, creating a hybrid fuel system. He ran simulations, pushing the engines to limits that no alien engineer would dare. The ship responded with agility, twisting and turning in ways impossible for its size. Jace laughed with excitement. "You're going to be unstoppable," he said, running his hands along the polished hull. The rusty ship of yesterday had become a potential weapon of incredible power, all because a human refused to give up. But progress came with challenges. Jace realized that the ship's AI was not fully cooperative. It responded to patterns, not commands. If he made a mistake in the sequence, systems would shut down or behave unpredictably. One morning, the shields failed during a test maneuver, and the ship jolted violently. Jace was thrown to the floor of the cockpit. He groaned but quickly got back to work. "You're stubborn," he muttered. "But so am I." By the end of the first week, Jace had developed a rhythm with the ship. He learned to predict its responses, and in turn, the ship seemed to respond to him like a silent partner. Every adjustment, every tweak brought them closer together. Humans had an unusual quality: creativity and persistence. They did not just follow instructions, they reinvented them. And that made them unpredictable, even to the most advanced alien machines. As he mastered the systems, he tested the ship's speed and maneuverability in the asteroid belt near the outer rim of human-controlled space. He darted between massive rocks, engines roaring, shields flaring, and weapons firing harmless bursts to gauge response times. Each test made him more confident. Humans could adapt in ways aliens did not expect. Then came the first sign of danger. Sensors detected a small alien scouting fleet approaching. The ships were sleek, faster than any human craft, and armed with weapons designed for precision strikes. They had likely heard rumors of Jace's project and came to investigate. Jace's heart raced, but he remained calm. He knew humans had an advantage: creativity. While the alien ships followed predictable tactics, he could think outside the pattern. He activated the ship's shields and weapons and prepared for a confrontation. The first encounter was brief but intense. The alien scouts fired, but Jace anticipated their movements. He used the asteroid field for cover, twisting the ship in ways that should have been impossible. Energy blasts glanced off the shields, and alien weapons misfired against unexpected maneuvers. Jace laughed, adrenaline surging. "You think you can predict me?" he shouted, firing the hybrid weapons. Bursts of energy tore through the alien hulls, damaging their ships without fully destroying them. He wanted to survive, not slaughter. He wanted to prove the ship's potential, not commit war crimes. The aliens retreated after a few minutes, confused by the humans' tactics. Jace's eyes shone with determination. "This is just the beginning," he said. "You haven't seen anything yet." Over the next few weeks, Jace continued to improve the ship. He experimented with its energy core, discovering that the power could be redistributed between weapons, shields, and propulsion almost instantly. He created a system where the ship could focus on speed one moment, shields the next, and maximum firepower after that. No alien system could adapt that fast. He also modified the ship's hull, reinforcing weak points and polishing the surfaces to reduce detection by sensors. The once rusty alien vessel now gleamed, a mix of human engineering and alien design, far beyond its original capabilities. As word spread through human settlements, whispers of Jace's achievements reached other scavengers and traders. Some were skeptical, but others became curious. They spoke of a human who had brought an ancient alien warship to life, who had transformed it into something deadly and unpredictable. Jace, however, did not seek fame. He focused on preparation. The sensors detected a much larger alien fleet moving closer, possibly a full patrol fleet sent to investigate the reports. He knew this would be the ultimate test. The small scouts had been easy because humans could adapt quickly. A full fleet would require strategy, courage, and innovation. He spent days studying the alien tactics, reading patterns, and running simulations. Humans excelled at improvisation, and he intended to use that advantage. Unlike aliens who relied on rigid protocols, humans could change plans in the middle of battle. That unpredictability would be key. Finally, the day came. The alien fleet appeared on the horizon, their numbers far exceeding any he had faced before. Dozens of ships, sleek and deadly, moved in formation. Sensors blinked red with warnings of energy signatures. Jace's palms were sweaty, but his mind was sharp. He activated the engines and weapons, his fingers moving over the controls with precision. "Let's see what humans can do," he said quietly. The ship hummed, responding to his determination. It was more than a machine now, it was an extension of his mind, a partner in the coming battle. The alien fleet opened fire. Energy blasts streaked through space, and the first hit shook the ship violently. Jace gritted his teeth, adjusted the shields, and twisted the engines in a maneuver that the aliens did not anticipate. A ship that followed standard protocol collided with an asteroid, destroyed by its own miscalculation. He fired the weapons in bursts, disabling engines and shields of enemy ships without destroying them completely. Each strike was precise, taking advantage of gaps in their formations. Humans did not rely on brute force, they used intelligence and strategy. Hours passed as the battle raged. Jace dodged, countered, and attacked with precision. The aliens were powerful, but they were predictable. Humans were not. Jace's combination of human creativity and the ship's alien power was unmatched. Finally, the remaining alien ships retreated. Jace's ship was battered but intact. The hybrid systems, the human ingenuity and relentless determination had turned the odds in his favor. He had faced a fleet and survived. More than survived, he had proven humans could transform the impossible into victory. Exhausted but victorious, he floated in space, looking at the stars. The ship, once abandoned and rusty, now gleamed as a symbol of human potential. It was a tool, a weapon, and a testament to ingenuity and courage. Humans could face any challenge, adapt, and thrive, even against advanced alien technology. "This is just the start," Jace whispered. "We will be stronger, faster, smarter. No one will ever underestimate humans again." As he plotted a course back to the outer settlements, Jace reflected on the journey. Every failure, every spark, every sleepless night had led to this moment. The ship was more than metal and circuits. It was proof that human determination, creativity, and adaptability could turn a forgotten relic into a force feared across the stars. And somewhere in the void, other aliens would soon learn that humans were not just another species. They were unpredictable, inventive, and capable of greatness beyond imagination. The universe was changing, and Jace Rylan, the human mechanic, was at the heart of that change. The stars stretched endlessly before Jace Rylan as his ship cut through the void of space. The once rusty, forgotten alien vessel now gleamed with human modifications, shields reinforced, weapons upgraded, engines faster than any human fleet. It had become more than a ship. It was a symbol of human ingenuity, a testament to what one determined human could achieve. But the calm would not last. Sensors blinked urgently. A massive alien armada was approaching, a fleet larger than any Jace had faced before. Their numbers filled the scanners, sleek warships moving in precise formations. Every ship was armed with deadly energy weapons, and their coordinated patterns suggested years of battle experience. Jace took a deep breath, fingers tightening on the controls. "This is it," he whispered. "Time to show them what humans can do." The first wave of the armada opened fire. Energy beams streaked across space, some grazing the ship's reinforced hull. Jace twisted the ship in ways alien engineers never anticipated. Shields flared as the engines roared, and the hybrid weapons fired bursts of concentrated energy, striking enemy ships in critical spots. The aliens were powerful, but they were also rigid. Their tactics were predictable, relying on strict formations and advanced targeting systems. Humans were different. Humans could adapt, improvise, and think in ways no algorithm could predict. Jace's mind raced as he calculated angles, trajectories, and timing. Every move of his ship was both offense and defense, a dance of strategy and skill. A large alien battleship broke formation and charged directly at him. Its weapons were capable of tearing through any human vessel, but Jace had prepared for this. He diverted energy to the shields, twisted the engines, and executed a sudden maneuver that sent the alien ship colliding with an asteroid. Pieces of metal floated in the void, and the remaining ships faltered, unsure of what just happened. Jace grinned. "One down," he said, his voice calm but filled with adrenaline. "Let's see how the rest handle this." He used the asteroid field as cover, darting between massive rocks, each movement unpredictable. The hybrid weapons responded instantly, firing bursts that disabled engines and shields without destroying the ships entirely. His goal was survival and demonstration, not unnecessary destruction. Humans had a unique talent, turning limitations into advantages. Hours passed as Jace engaged the armada. Energy beams streaked, explosions echoed across space, and the ship shuddered under near misses. But every time the aliens adapted, Jace changed tactics. He drew on creativity, intuition, and human stubbornness. No computer, no protocol could anticipate his next move. In one daring maneuver, Jace approached the center of the enemy formation. Sensors detected a massive alien command ship controlling the fleet. With speed unmatched, he twisted the engines, outmaneuvered escort ships, and fired concentrated energy bursts at the command vessel. The shields flickered, alarms blared on alien scanners, and chaos spread through the armada. The other alien ships tried to regroup, but it was too late. Their formations collapsed as confusion set in. Humans did not fight like aliens, they adapted. Jace's ship, once considered obsolete and abandoned, now dominated the battlefield with ingenuity and relentless determination. During a brief pause in the combat, Jace took a moment to check the ship systems. Engines were hot but stable, shields at 80%, weapons fully operational. He allowed himself a small smile. "You're amazing," he said to the ship. "We've come a long way." The aliens, frustrated and fearful, attempted a coordinated attack. This time, Jace anticipated their moves before they executed them. He rotated the ship, redirected energy to weak points, and unleashed a torrent of energy bursts that disabled multiple ships at once. The human-alien hybrid design, combined with Jace's strategic mind, proved overwhelming. He realized something important. Humans thrived in unpredictability. While aliens relied on protocol and numbers, humans relied on creativity, courage, and quick thinking. That combination could overcome even the most advanced technology. The battle reached its peak when the largest remaining alien ships focused on Jace, attempting to crush him with sheer force. But he had learned from every encounter. Using the asteroid belt once more, he executed rapid maneuvers, appearing and disappearing, striking at weak points, and confusing the enemy fleet. One by one, the alien ships either retreated or were disabled. Finally, only a handful of alien vessels remained. Their leaders, recognizing Jace's skill and the ship's overwhelming capabilities, signaled retreat. They did not understand how one human could control an ancient warship and turn it into a weapon beyond their expectations. The armada pulled back, leaving the battlefield quiet except for the hum of the victorious ship. Jace exhaled deeply, relief and pride washing over him. He floated in the void, looking at the stars. The ship, once a rusty relic, was now a fearsome force, a symbol of what humans could achieve when determination met creativity. "This is only the beginning," he said. "The universe will know humans are not to be underestimated." He set a course for a nearby human settlement to report his success. Along the way, he reflected on the journey. Every challenge, every failure, every sleepless night had led to this moment. Humans had taken something abandoned and impossible, and had turned it into a force feared by even the most advanced alien civilizations. The settlements greeted him with awe and curiosity. Stories of the battle spread quickly. People marveled at how one human had transformed an ancient alien ship into a weapon capable of standing against a massive fleet. Jace humbly explained the truth. It was not just the ship, but human ingenuity, adaptability, and courage that had won the day. He spent weeks teaching others what he had learned. Engineers, pilots, and even young students came to see the ship, learning how human creativity could turn limitations into power. The ship itself became a training vessel, a demonstration of human potential, showing that even in a universe dominated by advanced alien species, humans could innovate and triumph. Despite the attention, Jace remained focused on exploration and preparation. He upgraded the ship further, experimenting with new propulsion methods, shield enhancements, and weapon systems. The ship was no longer merely a restored relic. It was a hybrid of human and alien technology, a symbol of collaboration between ingenuity and determination. He also considered the universe beyond the human colonies. The battle had been a warning to alien civilizations. Humans were capable of far more than they appeared. Intelligence, courage, and creativity were weapons in themselves. The galaxy would soon learn that humans could not be underestimated. One evening, as the twin suns of a nearby star system set, Jace stood on the observation deck of his ship. The stars reflected off the polished hull. He felt a quiet sense of accomplishment. Humans had done the impossible. They had taken a forgotten, rusting alien ship and transformed it into a force capable of reshaping the balance of power in the galaxy. He thought of all the humans who had faced impossible odds, explorers, engineers, and dreamers. He thought of the determination that defined them, the courage that pushed them beyond limits. The ship was a monument to that spirit, a reminder that no matter how advanced or powerful other civilizations might seem, humans had something unique: creativity, adaptability, and relentless determination. As night fell across the star system, Jace set a new course. There were new worlds to explore, new challenges to face, and more adventures waiting in the void. The universe was vast, full of unknown dangers and opportunities, but Jace was ready. He glanced at the ship's control panel, the alien symbols now glowing softly under human modifications. "We're just getting started," he whispered. "There's more to do, more to see, and more to prove. Humanity is just beginning to show its strength." And with that, the ship surged forward, faster than ever before. Its engines roared, shields shimmered, and weapons hummed in readiness. Jace Rylan, human mechanic turned pilot and innovator, had not only restored a relic, he had created a legend. The galaxy would remember this day, not because of the ship alone, but because of what it represented, the unstoppable spirit of humanity. A human could take the impossible, master it, and turn it into something beyond imagination. A human could defy expectations, survive the odds, and triumph where others would fail. And as the stars streaked past the viewport, Jace smiled, knowing that humanity's journey was only beginning. The universe was wide, challenges awaited, and humans, unpredictable, inventive, and courageous, were ready to meet them head-on. The rusty, abandoned alien ship had been reborn, and in its new form it carried the unyielding heart of a human.